So welcome to our Gita Studies. Let's take a moment to invoke Ishvara's blessing. Ishvara, the cause of this whole universe, or Devī, the goddess, or however you call that which is in and through all beings, that which is always present, that which is non-dual, that which is free from any limitation, form-wise, object-wise, time-wise, space-wise. That which is love, in other words, or in poetry called the beloved. And when we invoke the blessing, it means we're invoking to receive the guidance, we receive the protection, we receive the strength, we receive the endurance and the trust, especially the trust, to stay with this journey. And this journey is the spiritual journey, which means the discovery of your ultimate wholeness, the discovery that you are the beloved, that you are what you seek to be, whole and complete, limitless, that you are no different from anything or anyone else, or that you are everything. That is the spiritual journey, which in truth we all are on this spiritual journey. Even the people that wouldn't call themselves spiritual, we are all on a spiritual journey. There is no non-spiritual journey. There is no non-spiritual world. Doesn't exist. But not all have yet discovered the fact that there is no true, lasting, permanent security or happiness to be found in this world. And as we live our life, as we get cooked, like my teachers like to say, cooked means as we get to experience life in its fullness, from excruciating pain to ecstatic pleasure, everything passes and there's nothing we can hold on to, or there's nothing we can really get stuck in either. It may feel like that, but the truth is everything we experience will come to an end. And so if my happiness, my security has something to do with something outside of myself, then that happiness, that found security will come to an end inevitably. And there comes a time in my life where I become very much aware of that fact, where I cannot deny it anymore. It becomes obvious. And it can be very scary. But that's the moment where we become a spiritual seeker. A seeker, one that seeks happiness, security, not from something outside of themselves, not even inside of themselves. but just from themselves. And if I am that source of security and happiness, which the Veda and any other spiritual tradition would promise or says, then that means I must be whole and complete. Because if I'm not, how could I ever be happy and secure? And so this is quite a journey that has obstacles. We can get pulled into all kinds of different directions. And that is why we invoke the blessing of the beloved, so that we keep on track and we don't deviate. Or if we do, that we come very quickly back to the red royal carpet towards moksha, freedom. And so I invite you to find in your heart that part of you that is also the reason why you're here today. The one that seeks freedom, the one that seeks the beloved, the one that seeks true happiness and security, love, the one that seeks wholeness. See if you can find that. I invite you to breathe into that part. Make it bigger with your awareness. Let it take up space. Exhale, anchor into it and celebrate it for a moment and give thanks to that part. Really feel proud of that part, because it requires a lot of courage to let that part shine, to let that part be revealed. A lot of courage. And then let that part and all other parts be held in the embrace of the eternal beloved. Like I love to feel myself being held in the arms of God, Goddess, the infallible Mother, the infallible Father of this whole universe, for offering me unconditional love, validation for everything I am here and now. And my armor, my fighter in me, can melt, can lean back, and just let itself be guided. And we are entering the great song of the beloved. It means we are in the process of getting to know the beloved, not as something outside of myself, in the sky or in another dimension, but as myself, as yourself, here and now. And just acknowledge that. That's what we're here for, to discover the beloved as yourself, as you. And until you know, without a vagueness, without a doubt, without any errors, habitual errors, that that is you, your journey has not completed. Which journey? The spiritual journey. The destination. Because there is an end to this journey. And the end, the destination is you. What a relief. Because you're already there. It's you. And you are already here. So the journey is not a journey where you go on a pilgrimage by feet or by plane or by boat, by car or by a donkey. No, this pilgrimage is a cognitive journey through the vastness of your existence, through the vastness of your beautiful mind. Through the vastness of all the experiences and the recognition of the nature of every experience that you have ever had, have, or will have. What is the truth, the nature of every experience? That is the destination, and that is you. I mean, the invocation, the blessing of the beloved, and also my sampradaya, our sampradaya. Sampradaya means the teaching tradition, an intact, living teaching tradition that unfolds the vision of the beloved as oneself here and now, in this life, not then and there. We begin, we continue our studies, our sacred studies. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Repeat after me. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnan Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Aim Hrim Om Saraswatyai Namaha. The two prayers dedicated to Ganesha, the remover of all obstacles, and Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. We chant now the Gita Dhyana. So you can repeat after me. So we'll just learn the first line and then we'll just chant the whole through. So each time we go through each line a little bit in more detail to get the proper pronunciation, because we get extra spiritual wealth, punyam, if we pronounce the words properly. So we'll take one line at a time and then we just chant the whole. And then you just join, and the more you hear it, the more it will also stay in your heart. Om Atha Gita Dhyanam. Om Atha Gita Dhyanam. So Om Atha isn't, you don't see that here, but Om Atha means Om. Om after having invoked the blessing of the beloved. Om, that which protects. Avati, that which protects. Rakshati, that which takes care of everyone. Atha, Atha means thereafter. So after having invoked the blessings of the beloved, our sampradaya, my lineage, our teachers, then now we chant the Gita Dhyanam. Dhyana means the meditation on Gita. Gita means the song. Now we meditate on the song of the beloved. Om Atha Gita Dhyanam. Om Atha Gita Dhyanam. And so here you want to focus on Om Atha. Atha is aspirate. Tha. Om Atha. And Om, O is always long. Om has two matra. Om. Om. So 3 counts and then the 4th is silence. And then Gita, E is long, A is long, E, A, Gita, not Gita, Gita. That's the proper pronunciation in Sanskrit. Gita, Dhyanam, Dhyanam. And DH means aspirate, big breath. Dhyanam, Gita, Dhyanam. Om Atha Gita Dhyanam. Om Atha Gita Dhyanam. Now the next one. Om Parthaya. Om Parthaya. So here we focus on the A and A long. Parthaya. And TH aspirate. Parthaya. Om Parthaya. Om Parthaya. Then Pratibodhitam. Pratibodhitam. Prati is straightforward. O long. And then dha aspirate. Dha long. Pratibodhitam. Pratibodhitam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam. And then here, because there's a contract consonant, P, Pa, and R, Repa. So then now the Pa becomes tunas. It's as if there would be 2 pakaras. So you pronounce Parthaya, and then you close the lips. Parthaya. Stay there half a second. Parthaya Pratibodhitam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam. Then Bhagavata. Bhagavata. Bha aspirate, long A at the end. Bhagavata. Bhagavata. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata. Next one. Narayanena Swayam. Narayanena Swayam. And so then here, long A, Narayanena. Na-ra-ya-lena. Na is long, A is long, and then the N has a dot underneath. It means the bottom of the tongue touches the dome of the palate. So you have to roll the tongue back and then na. And then the next na is a dental nakara. The tongue touches the teeth. Na-ra-ya, ne, na. And then swayam. And all the siblings, S, sha, and sha, we have 3 different S, are always aspirate, even though they don't have a ha. So, Narayanena swayam. Narayanena swayam. And actually here you can also then you go directly from Narayanena swayam. You also go directly to the sakara and have an added sakara there. Do it wrong. Narayanena swayam. So this is the first line. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swayam. So we do this 2 more times and then we chant the whole. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swayam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swayam. And then this is the line you can practice if you want throughout the week. And then when you practice this, you can also practice by heart. And then you add next week the next line, and then the next line, and the next line, and then suddenly you have it by heart. You chant it in your dreams. Okay, one more time, and then we chant the whole. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swayam Vyasena Krathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrtavarshini Bhagavatim Ashtadashabhyayini Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavat Gite Bhavat Veshini Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayatapatra Yena Tvaya Bharatatailapurnaha Prajwalito Jnanamayah Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamutraya Krishnaya Gita Mrtaduhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Mrtam Mahata Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum Bhishma Drona Tata Jayatratha Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashvatthama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalu Pandavairananadi Kaivartakah Keshavaha Parasharyavachasarojamamalam Gitarthagandhotkatam Nanakyanakake saram harikatha Sambodhana bodhitam Loke sajjana shatpadaira haraha Pepiyamanam muda Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamsina Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkarpatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rutra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita tat gatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha yasyantam navidussura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha yasyantam navidussura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. So the last one is our teacher-student prayer. Okay, Devī spotted some typo. Yeah, there's one more. I know there's one also here. The on the where was it? Here it's a Duryodhana Vartini. This should be an R here, but here it's correct in the Devanagari. And then which one are you saying? Yeah, please. We're gonna ask our dear Jeffrey to correct this. Yeah. So today we're going to look at the word Bhagavan or Bhagavat, because this is the Bhagavad Gita. And so Gita is the song. Gitam, actually, the word is Gitam, but we say Gita, and it means the song. And here it means the praise, like the song here. It's not meant that we're going to sing this. I mean, we're not really singing it, we're chanting it. There's a little bit different than singing and chanting. In chanting, we have certain meters that we're following, certain melodies. In singing, we have like license. We can extend vowels and we can bring in other ornamentations. When it comes to chanting, we don't have this musical license than when we sing. There we get some musical license, but not to the extent that when we're like singing. In chanting, there's a meter we follow, the certain intonations and the lengths also of each of the letter, like how long each letter is. Because if we extend certain letters, then the whole meter goes out of meter. Like it's the whole meter goes out of meter. The counting is not correct anymore. So each meter has certain countings, like the Gayatri mantra, which is very famous. Om Bhur Bhuva Suvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayate. Actually, that's a meter of 24 counts. And so if we extend or shorten certain letters, then that meter is out of counting. And so each mantra has this count, and there's a beauty to it when we understand this tradition, or where this comes from. The beauty is that because of that, these mantras and these chants and the knowledge has been kept intact. Like, because if we had this knowledge but it's just spoken, then like when we tell stories to each other, like you know this in game when we're in school, and then you say like a word, or you tell a story and you tell it into one's ear, and then you tell the story, and then that person tells the story to the next person, and that person tells the story to the next person, and then by the end it's a complete different story, right? Complete different story. And so if these teachings would have been passed on in this way, we wouldn't have it anymore. And so how it kept alive, how it kept intact, is because it is all in verse form, in hymn form, because then it cannot be changed. There's a meter, there's a word, and then it's followed by the word, and then this is kept like that. We don't change it. And only because of that, then it can be passed on, like I say. Om Shuklam Vararam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashanthaye. Or we can do it simple. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Right? Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So that then after we're all telling each other into the ear, the possibility that it stays like that is quite big. Even though now it sounds like Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, like that's maybe what we're getting now, right? I'm hearing Saraswati Namaha, that we have all our beautiful dialects in there, but it's still that mantra. So Om Devi, Om. Yes, you can always come and go on your own timing. There's no that you just honor your coming and going timing. So so that is why, like, there is that is why this teaching is still alive, and we have it because we are keeping the meters the way they are. We don't change the word. We keep the intonations, and that's why we have the blessing that we can inquire into the Bhagavad Gita today. And then, yes, of course, it is in Sanskrit, Samskritam. Samskritam, kr is the dhatu, the root. It means to do, and then sam means very well. Samkrtam, and then very well refined. So Samskritam is a very well refined language. We even say it's the most refined language. And so the Bhagavad Gita is given in Samskritam, or Sanskrit in English. And yes, now the situation we're facing is that we have many Bhagavad Gitas unfolded or translated in many different languages, even within English, like we have it in many different languages, and then within the language we have many different types of translation. So we have, I don't know how many. We can see if we go to a library or we Google on the internet, Amazon, like how many Bhagavad Gitas are there translated into English? I don't know, hundreds probably, and hundreds. And so it's interesting. Like, you will tell somebody now, like, I'm studying Gita, and then they will say, yeah, I also study Gita. Like, and everyone will say, every yogi will tell you, I also study Gita. Yet what we studied, the story is the same. We all know it's the story of the Bhagavad Gita, because there are many types of Gitas. We have Rama Gita and Utpodgata Gita, and there are many countless Gitas. So meaning many songs, many praises of the Lord in different aspects. Rama Gita would be the song of Rama. There we praise Rama. There Rama is the Lord, is the beloved, is our king. And so so when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, and that's usually often the text studied in a yoga teacher training, or at least a part of it, because I don't know any yoga teacher training who teaches the whole Bhagavad Gita, because it's 18 chapters, like 18 yogas. And the yoga here doesn't mean now like Arjuna's yoga, and now you learn the yoga of Arjuna, or the jnana yoga, or karma yoga, or here the yoga, it doesn't mean a yoga in terms of a different sadhana, or a different type of yoga style. Here yoga means a chapter. So the word yoga here, it means a chapter. And so the Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. And so, and many verses. I don't remember right now how many verses there are. We can look it up. Like, because each chapter has between, I think, 20 and 50 verses. So then we usually study in a yoga teacher training, and I teach a lot in yoga teacher trainings as the philosophy teacher, right? We maybe give the gist or the story of the Bhagavad Gita. And the story is the story of Arjuna. Like, so Arjuna here is the hero, or the heroine. Like in Kathopanishad, the hero is Nachiketas, and in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there are many different Upanishads in there, and then you have also Maitreyi as the heroine. So it can be a hero or it can be a heroine. Basically, there is a story, and the story is of a person, a jiva, just like you and just like me, that is on a spiritual journey. Like it's a person that has discovered that everything in this world is temporary. Nothing can really make me happy. And so that's where the story begins. Actually, the story has begun way before, but all the stories way before, they're just like noodles. Like, you know, noodles, when you eat noodles, like when you take one noodle, you have like 20 other noodles coming with you. So you hear one story from a person, and then you have other 20 stories coming with you, or 100 stories, right? And then you have story within story, within story, within story, within story. It's like an endless story. So if you're interested in stories, then you study the Mahabharata. Right? The Mahabharata is the epic. Like it's the epic. It's the Maha means Mahabharata. Maha means greater than the greatest, bigger than the biggest. And here Bharata means India, right? And so India, we can think like, yeah, but I'm not Indian. I didn't grow up in India, so why does this concern me? Right? Here, Bharata, it doesn't mean just India as the land of India, but here Bharata it means a whole society, a whole dharma kshetra, a whole kshetra means the field, dharma, a whole field where dharma is still practiced, is still valued, is still integrated into society. And it basically means like this, the greatest story of all stories. And what it means is that there you find all the possible stories. Like every possible story you find in there. There's no story that has not been covered in the Mahabharata. And so we say that it's the best, actually, psychology training there. It's a study of the vastness of the mind, of the psychology, like the mind, the cause and effect, how we react, how we respond to certain circumstances, and why we respond to them because of our background. We never respond just out of chance. And there's always a background why we respond or not respond. We react until we become aware we're reacting, and then we can catch ourselves. Ooh, now I'm in a reaction. I'm so angry. And then I need to get out this anger in a healthy, dharmic way. And that's what the yoga teaches us. And so, and if we don't do that, like if we don't catch ourselves and we act out the anger, then we create another story. And then that person gets angry because I reacted to that person, and then that person reacts, and then that person reacts towards me, and then that person reacts to the other person. And then you have story and story and story and story and story and endless story. And that's the Mahabharata, right? And so this is wonderful. Like we all love stories. I mean, I love stories. Who doesn't love stories? Like we feel so much better about ourselves when we hear other people's problems. Like it's like, oh, I'm not alone. Right? That's why I did for so many years women's circles. Right? Because I saw I'm not the only one just in my own misery and drowning in my own pain. Felt better about myself because other people have exactly the same story like I have, right? And it was so healing to hear other people's pain. Like it's just being honest. Like it's no shame we need to feel, but it is like that. Like you say, oh, you also did this. Oh, you also did that. Oh, you also felt this. Oh, you also, okay, good. Oh, and then we can cry together, right? And then we can laugh together. And then, oh, okay. And now we love each other so much because we have the same stories, right? And then we become soulmates. And then we want to travel for life after life after life after lives, right? Until one day we're like, okay, now enough soulmate. Because we're still tangoing with each other, right? As soulmates. There's a lot of tangoing in there. So then at one point we untangle our soulmates. Because the truth is we're all soulmates. If we wouldn't be soulmates, we wouldn't be here together. Right? In one way, we've met already, soulmate. We already met. It's just that some of us, we've tangled with each other more. And we played with each other more. We had more similar stories. We had more similar likes and dislikes. And that's how we become soulmates, because we have the same likes and the same dislikes. Oh, you like Rolling Stones? I also like Rolling Stones. Yeah, let's go to a Rolling Stone concert together, right? And suddenly, like, that's how we become soulmates, because we have the same likes and dislikes. That's how we fall in love, because we have the same music style, the same food style. We're both vegetarian, or we're both carnivores, right? So we have the same likes and dislikes. And then suddenly one of us, we change our likes and dislikes. Right. And then can I still accommodate you? Because now I've become a vegetarian and you're still a meat eater. Oh! Can I give you the freedom to eat meat? Right? And I can just be a vegetarian and do it for my own sake and not have an agenda for you to do that. But there are many nuances to it, right? Because at one point also, right, it is there's really the growth of being able to give the freedom to the other person to do and be what they are, and then once I'm able to do that, and then it's natural that I may come to a point in my life where I say, but now I really don't want to compromise anymore. Like I do want to really have these values in and through every aspect of my life. And I want that to be in my life, in my nearest vicinity. Like that's different. And then I may have certain standards, right? And then it may seem as an ultimatum, or it may seem as a demand, but it's actually not a demand. It's just, you know, your standards and your values, and that's how you want to live. So that there we go into all the relationship nuances. So it's not so easy. Again, it's not black and white either. Yeah, basically, the core of our human relationships are likes and dislikes. Like we share same likes and dislikes, or we don't. And that's also where we then will discover our agendas for each other. And the Bhagavad Gita goes very, very deeply into this topic, likes and dislikes, especially then in the chapter 3, because it's this likes and dislikes which cause us a lot of situations, issues. But then we discover that actually it's not the like and the dislike that is the issue. There's something underneath the like and the dislike that causes the actual like and dislike. And what is that which is underneath all these binding agendas? Like it has to be like this, it cannot be like that. Where does that come from? That's why we're here, to discover what is the fundamental cause of all our desires, basically. And so it's not the desire that is the problem, which in certain yoga schools, that's how the Bhagavad Gita has been translated. They looked at this chapter 3 and then looked at desires, and then you have a whole yoga school that teaches desires are bad. And then you have a whole tradition of yogis that just go into tyaga all the time and abstain from all kinds of pleasure and are in deep pain all the time. Right? Cannot be with Shakti anymore, cannot be with the Devī, cannot be with the fullness of life, and nurture themselves, take care of their body, take care of their human needs, like be with their sexuality and just express it in a healthy, beautiful, sacred way. So then we have this whole yoga school tradition where it's a lot of putting pain, like, to oneself, because all desires are the evil of all material, of all materialism. The desire is the problem. And so we have all these different translations of the Bhagavad Gita, because in order to be able to understand the Sanskritam, and then like one thing is to be able to translate the word of Sanskrit. If you go into the dictionary, in Monnier Williams is a Sanskrit dictionary, then you put that word into the dictionary, you're gonna get 1 up to 20 different meanings, or even more. I don't know. There's so many meanings for certain words. And then you have all these different meanings of these words. And then you have the whole sentence, right? And then you need to put the meaning together. Like the word alone, you have a meaning, but then the whole meaning is if you have all the words together and you have a sentence. And then to understand the sentence, that's a whole other story. And so we have this situation. We need to understand the word, and then we need to understand the sentential meaning, and then we need to understand the intended meaning, right? Because we can have the immediate meaning of a word and the immediate meaning of the sentence. Like the immediate meaning of the word Saraswati would be goddess. Okay, who is Saraswati? Well, immediate meaning is the goddess, right? But then what's behind, like what's the inner meaning? We can then look into the etymology of the word Saraswati. Then we can break it apart. And then we can, if that word is in the context of, or in a whole sentence, what is the intended meaning? Like, or when we're talking with each other, it's not now the best example, but intended meaning is like when it's not clear, the immediate meaning is not clear. I say, for example, oh, the red is walking. And if I just say the red is walking, you don't know what it means. Like I have to give the meaning of the word red and then walking, and then the red would be but there's a beautiful example. I just gotta remember. Yeah, it would be like, it's not, but the example is not coming to me. But it's basically when we have like a word like red, and then red alone by itself doesn't mean, it has to be connected to a noun, like the red hat. And then she who has a red hat, the woman who has the red hat, and then the red is connected to the head, and you see something red is walking. Like, and then you know that red by itself cannot walk, and there must be a woman that is, or a man, or something that wears something red. And so I'm going to give a better example next time. We have all these examples in the Shastra that will come. So like when I would say, okay, the red is walking, we know that red by itself cannot walk. And so then we can imply that there must be a person or something that has something that is wearing red, and then the red can walk in that sense. And so when we speak with each other, like we often face that when we are in a conversation with each other, and we're speaking with each other, we're even speaking the same language, but often we don't really understand each other. I mean, we can also sometimes make jokes. Like this is a very good example, is when we make jokes with each other. Like you're joking, but then there's still an intended meaning behind. Really, if you're taking someone, you tease them, like, and you're teasing them, and you're saying, for example, oh, I didn't think you would be able to walk up the mountain, like, and you're teasing them and saying with that, you're kind of teasing them, saying that you're weak and you don't have the strength. But actually what you're saying is that I was just teasing you, and I know that you're able to do it. Does that make sense? Right? So we're having this situation a lot when in communication, like we're saying something and then sometimes we mean something else. And so when we mean something else, or we need to indicate something, then that can be the intended meaning. The intended meaning means the lakshyartha in Sanskrit. And then we have the vachyartha. Vachyartha means the word meaning. Like, what is the word meaning and what is the intended meaning? And so here in the Bhagavad Gita, in these translations, like people maybe that know Sanskrit or study Sanskrit, they can give you the vachyartha, the word meaning of all these words, because we can look it up in the dictionary. But then to really give the intended meaning, that's a whole other story. Like, how can someone really give the intended meaning? There we depend upon a commentary, basically. There we depend upon someone having really understood the meaning of the Bhagavad Gita. And so here in this case now, the Bhagavad Gita, we say it's written by Vyasa Acharya. Acharya means a teacher, and Vyasa was a great Muni, a great saint who wrote the Bhagavad Gita. And Shankaracharya, another teacher, he made the commentary, the Bhashyam. Bhashyam means the commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. Like, so he took every word and then looked at the word meaning, but then also the intended meaning, and then gave the commentary on the verses of the Bhagavad Gita, of these 18 chapters. And with that, then, and he did that in Sanskrit as well, like Shankaracharya, he didn't do it in English. So we have Sanskrit with the commentary in Sanskrit. And then like we need someone who really also understands Sanskrit and who has had a teacher that also understands Sanskrit. And then that teacher could give the unfoldment of the commentary of the Bhagavad Gita in order then to be able to pass on what is really intended with each and every word and sentence and verse in this Bhagavad Gita. And so my teacher, Swami Dayananda, my teacher's teachers, and with whom I also had the blessing to study, Swami Dayananda, that's the Bhagavad Gita we are following, like in our Gita studies, we are following Swami Dayananda's commentary. So you can also get that if you want. You can order it online. You can order it my suggestion is to go actually to Arsha Vidya Gurukulam website directly, because you can also get it on Amazon, but it's beautiful to get it directly from the school itself. And it's beautiful. I have these 9 volumes also in my library. And if you don't want to have the physical book, you can also have the PDF. And there's an app called Teachings of Swami Dayananda. Maybe Purna or Arjuna can Google it, or Moran, you can put it in the chat. And there's an app called Teachings of Swami Dayananda. The app you download for free, and then you can download the volume. There are 9 volumes. We're going to study chapter 2. I'm going to give a little brief introduction to chapter 1, but we will start with chapter 2. And there you can then buy the PDF. It's not expensive. I think it's like $3-5 or something like that. And so we are following Swami Dayananda's unfoldment in English, like he unfolded it in English, and he followed the commentary of Shankaracharya, and Shankaracharya made the commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. And so in this case we need to trust, basically, because how do I know that this Bhagavad Gita that we are studying is the correct translation? It's a thing. How do I know? You don't know. How can you know? The only way I think you can know is by meeting the people who have studied that Bhagavad Gita, meeting other people who have studied other Bhagavad Gitas, and see how they are in life. Right? If I see the people who have studied Bhagavad Gita in the form of like going through unfolding that desire is the evil of all my problems, and see how they're ending up, and the resentment they have, and how they're with the world, and how they're treating themselves, it gives me kind of a sense of what they were exposed to. Or then you have other yoga schools where the Sankhya Yoga, right? They translated the Bhagavad Gita like in the form that God is not, but the beloved is not myself. The beloved is somewhere, is different. And I am the devotee. So yes, there's a lot of love in terms of that I am the devotee, but I am different from God. That's the Hare Krishnas. Like the Vaishnava, their Bible, if you can say so, is the Bhagavad Gita. Right? So then some people will tell you, are you now a Hare Krishna? because now you're getting to know Krishna. And no, you're not a Hare Krishna because I mean, unless you are, and then I mean, utmost respect for that. There's no judgment in that at all. There's so much sweetness and beauty in that tradition, and so many beautiful qualities that are very, very, very admirable. Yet, when the way the Hare Krishna is translated, the Bhagavad Gita, is that God is, I can never become God. Like God is different. I can only be in union with God, right? And so then I see how the Hare Krishnas behave in life, and then yeah, do I want to be like that, right? So if I want, then I would study in that tradition, right? And so I guess that's the only way, basically. I wouldn't know how any other way you can find out which Gita to study. Yeah. And then the other way would be where you just go online and then take a book and just study by yourself. You like study all the Bhagavad Gitas, all the translations that are there, and then figure it out by yourself. You can try that also, but that's going to take many, many, many years. And also, still, if you do it by yourself, like even then, it also leaves a lot of room for your own interpretation. Like you're going to then also interpret it based on your understanding of God and the world and how you understand these words. And so what we are inquiring into, what we are studying is now we're following Swami Dayananda's unfoldment, and then yeah, meet the people that are Swami Dayananda's students, and then that can give a good sense. Do like your heart will just tell you. It's and then also what helps is to pray, like tell the universe that you want to study the real Gita or any other, it's in any other area of life. Anything that we will study, we just ask for the right teachings or the right mentors that is good for me. Right? Could also be that I'm not, or we are not the right group, for example. And then there's so many other groups out there that you can join, right? Or your mind maybe is more like you have a very scientific mind. And then it's beautiful to go into I mean, you can be here, you're always so welcome, but I'm not like coming from a really scientific background, for example. So I'm not coming from a scientific background at all. And then if you have a scientific background, it's really nice to nurture that kind of mind. And then you can study, for example, with Swami Tattvavidananda. Like he's been a scientist, and it's the same Bhagavad Gita that he's unfolding from Swami Dayananda, but he then also brings other examples in, right? Or you are like deeply into psychology. And then Radha, my teacher, Jungian psychology, I studied a lot with her. And that's why I can bring in a lot of psychology examples, or they want to study with her. Then also the mind is satisfied in another way, and I will bring in a lot of my own experiences, like from my life where I am at, and from my experiences and my how I assimilated what I learned, and bringing in maybe a lot of relationship and feminine, masculine dynamics. And because I play in that field, and sexuality and money, and also I like to bring all of that also in. So of course, like these aspects are not written in the Bhagavad Gita. So every teacher or every guide will bring in their own experiences and their own flavors, how they have incorporated it into their lives. And then the heart, like the teaching itself, that's intact, and that is what is most important. So that is what is trustworthy, like the verses, the teachings, the truth, right? The truth. Like, so if from the beginning you know that this Bhagavad Gita says that you're never God, then like, do I really want to study that? Because it means I can never be whole and complete. I will always be just a small little fellow, and never everything. And if I'm not going to be everything, for me, then that doesn't make sense. Then there would be no solution to this human suffering. That means I would remain insignificant and not good enough. I will keep comparing myself to the rest of the world for eternity, and there will always be something better than me, and we cannot stand that. So here, like the Bhagavad Gita, we are looking into the vision revealed is the vision of wholeness, the vision that you are that beloved, right? That everything you seek is you. And that's what we are entering, to discover the fact of my existence, that I am limitless, that I am whole, that I'm complete, that I'm love, and that I have everything, I am everything I ever wanted and will want. And so, like, there is then an immediate gratification there. I mean, more than a gratification, there's an immediate blessing. Like, so the study of the Bhagavad Gita is an immediate blessing. It's not like you're studying and then you will get the blessing. It's immediate, because we're looking into a mirror in the form of words that gives me that gives me the direct recognition of what I am. Because like when you look into the mirror, you immediately, like, you see your face. And here, when we look into the mirror of words, here's the Gita, then we see ourselves here and now as limitless. Like, so every time I look into the teachings, and here looking into the teachings means I listen to the teachings, it's as if I look at the mirror to see my face. Here I listen to the teachings. It's called Shravanam, right? I have a desire to listen. I have a shushru. I have shushrushaha. Shushrushaha means I have an intense desire to listen. And so we also call the Veda, we call Vedanta Shrutihi. We call we call Shrutihi means that which is heard, because we are actually seeing through listening to the words. And then when I listen, immediately I can recognize what I am. So it is like a mirror to see me as whole and complete, limitless, here and now, at the time of teachings. And so that is so important, that is my attitude when I listen to Vedanta. It's not like you're gaining the theory here and then you go and practice to be limitless. No, it's a pramanam, it's a means of knowledge for you to see that you're limitless here and now. And yes, and then there are certain things that we're teaching, like dharma, values, that's often a theory. And then that we go out and practice in our relationships. Like, I'm angry right now, I can't talk. That's going to be a practice. So there is the practice in there in the Gita, where there is a lot of practice given, attitudes to be cultivated, meditations to be followed, to prepare the body-mind complex, to be able to fully discover, listen and then discover and then recognize myself as limitless here and now. So the Gita has these twofold aspects of action, where you go theory and then you go and practice, but then it also is a jnana shastra, a moksha shastra, which means it's knowledge. It's at the time of teaching, it is here to reveal that what you are. And so that's the attitude that we go about this study or these teachings. And so yeah. So I thought I would now unfold. I thought I would unfold today the word Bhagavan, but that time just passes so quickly. And that's how Bhagavan is. That's also the beauty. Now we can trust, because it's also depending. Like, we are here in this together. Like, I see your eyes and your presence, and then there's this sacred constellation, and then you're also pulling out different aspects that are needed for today. Like when your heart is open and certain things are maybe churning in your heart, or wanting to know, or then also this is pulled out. And so that's why also in the teaching, how it unfolds, it's so much really, not so much, it's like everything is just Bhagavan, it's just Ishvara, how we are together. And the more we're heart connected and have this sincere desire and love to discover the beloved as ourselves, like, then there's sweetness there, and then it's like a waterfall. It just comes and washes away whatever is there in our heart that is maybe difficult, and then like the vision is here. And so often I may have a plan, but then it turns out differently. And then I'm also honoring that, of course. And so we'll look at the word Bhagavan next time. And basically here, the Bhagavad Gita, this is the song of the beloved, and we're inquiring into that, we're discovering that the beloved is myself. And we're following Swami Dayananda's guidance and unfoldment. And so you can get that already and listen to it, read it. And we are going to mainly then go into chapter 2 and look at the different verses. Chapter 1 is about Arjuna's sorrow, like it's Arjuna sorrow, the chapter of Arjuna's pain, and it basically gives the context. Right? So I'm also going to give the context. We're going to go very deeply into the context because it's very important to establish the context. Because only when we establish the context, which we already done a little bit in our last class last time, like, and today also, like, what is the context? We are a seeker. We have projected our wholeness and security onto something other than ourselves. We can't accept ourselves as we are here and now. And so we're trying to become free people. So that's already a big context. But then there's the additional context of our humanness, and in terms of relating to the world, and especially to my family. Right? That's why it's so, I love to give the context, because we all experience that so much. And what we're experiencing so much is this drama, like the drama with our mom, and the drama with our dad, and the dramas with our cousins, and the jealousy, and the comparison, and the pain, and just all this, like, oh, right? That's just like, and so then you see, like, Arjuna experienced all of that, and again, we are not alone. Like, we say, okay, Arjuna also had this problem just like me, like with his own cousins, with his own uncles, with his own grandfather, with his own uncle. His own uncle, he was jealous, on them. The other uncle was not jealous, but the uncle couldn't take the right decision. So we're just seeing all these family dynamics in chapter 1, and I'm just gonna give like an overview. But then if you want to get really into the story and know each character, you can do that and read chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. Then you have a clear context, very detailed, and learn all the names. I'm going to give like the basic names, what is most important for us. And then if you want to really, really, really like have all the noodles, you really love noodles, and you want to taste all the noodles, then you can also at the same time read the Mahabharata and then get into all the stories and stories and stories. But we want to get like, or I want to go directly kind of quite soon then to the point, basically, like, and rather to stay then too long in the drama and in the story, because we all know about the drama and the story. I want to get to the point, and the point is, what is the solution to the problem, right? How do I untangle all these noodles? Like, how do I solve these family issues? How do I be happy and free here and now, right? And that's where chapter 2 comes into play. There we go to the solution immediately. Yeah. So this is it. Let's take a moment and close for today here. Om swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha ko brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini deshoyam kshobarahitah brahmana santu nirbhayaha. Om sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhatrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om. Thank you, everyone. And then I think if you're not, you can all join the WhatsApp groups and there you can also post questions. You can also share what's coming up for you during the week. We can have that as an interactive space. And also there was a question like, how long is this course? I have no idea. Like, I was just gonna go by it. Like, there's a way I know one can say, I'm gonna do a 10 session, right? And then it's like, one does what one can do in 10 classes. Some people do it like that. One can give the essence. There's so many ways how to go about this. For me, I just want to be in the timelessness and just go as we go. Yeah, I have so many other courses, and then you have a beginning and an end, and you have all these projects and plans, and it's just so nice to have like one thing that is not in that format, and it's just open and honoring the timelessness or enjoying the timelessness. Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. So nice to be here with you all. Hugs and snuggles. Madhu.